let's go. So with Mr. F, he has been hearing some noises outside, and it's been a little bit flustering for him. There was a trash truck that broke down in front of the center, and the gentleman had someone come, but they were using some compressors to fill up the tire. He has to get a pop tire. So Mr. F was a bit nervous after he heard some of the compressor noises. So I'm just trying to get him cozy by doing a couple find-its as he's hearing some of those odd noises. We were going to try and practice getting Mr. F to target a cot or a raised bed. Doesn't mean you have to get a cot. I just find it's a great way to sometimes give the pup a visual, something new to try too. I don't know if he's ever really done a raised bed like this. If he finds it to be a little bit spooky, again, we don't have to force the situation. I know Mr. R went up onto the cot just fine earlier. If we ever have a moment where your puppy is nervous and you try sort of checking it out together, but they're still apprehensive, I recommend to make it a simpler version. So I'm going to move some of these snacks from on top of the bed and see if I can flip the cot over and get Mr. Handsome to try it while it's flat. So the reason I sometimes flip the cot over is that if the pup is a little bit overwhelmed by the feeling of going up on top of something that feels hollow, this can be an easier way because you can step right on it and there's none of the sinking happening. So this way, Mr. Handsome might find it a little bit less spooky if he can come check it out and it stays flat on the floor. Because you can see his little body language is saying this is rather spooky, and we don't want to force him to do something that's a little bit overwhelming. So remember that when your puppy is saying, I need a little break or I need a little moment to reassure myself, forcing them in that moment will create more anxiety. So you can see that Mr. Handsome, Mr. F, is a little bit overwhelmed with the funny noises that came from outside. So we're still working a little bit on bouncing back. So he's still taking his food, but he is a bit apprehensive and a little bit nervous. You can see his little tail is tucked and he's a little bit flustered. There we go, good job. So as he gets a little bit more cozy and moving around, we may find that, let's say you may have wanted to try going on the cot. Eva's going to try it out for us. Is that in the beginning, if you have a goal, but it doesn't end up working out in that direction, don't worry. You can always start again a little bit later. So especially when you're dealing with a puppy, you want to make sure that you're taking your time with them and you're not rushing steps. Hey, Eva, let's not jump though because those big noises are spooky, okay? That's okay. So we just want to make sure Mr. F is not feeling too scared. If you want, do you want to come stand on the cot to show him that you're not going to fall through it? Thank you, that's perfect. Now he might feel more comfortable, ready? I did, to do a little find it on the flat cot. So this way, if you're just building up novelty, for a lot of puppies, remember something new can seem really spooky, especially if they've never tried it before. So remember how hard change can be for us. Sometimes new things make you really anxious, can get you overwhelmed. So I found what can be beneficial is to do a little bit of new things here and there, but not to the extent where your puppy sort of shuts down or has a really hard time responding to cues or taking food. Ready? So because if your puppy's really having a hard time and they're not taking the food, they're also no longer learning. You may also be by accident creating more of a flooding situation where the environment or the things in it or the skills you're working on start to become more of an I'm scared and a drowning situation with the scenario versus a learning moment. Nice. So I'm going to try again for Mr. Handsome to try the cot if he's interested. If Eva would like to come stand on the cot, that seemed to make him feel a bit more comfortable. So Eva is showing him that he's not going to fall through this new material. Then we might do again a little find it in and around the cot. If this was too spooky, I wouldn't go right into a find it. I would end up doing fun things near the item. And anytime Mr. F got near the situation, I'd feed and then feed away from the zone. So if let's say he was a little bit unsure, he maybe got close enough, and then I'd go yes, and then I'd do a little find it away from the item. So that way, at his terms, he could get closer, and then as close as he gets, then I do another little find it to move him away. And then as he's doing more and more comfortable behavior near the cot, yes, I could mark that moment where he goes and checks it out, feed it, and then see if he wants to come back again. Yes. So as he's getting more fluid, good job, mister. we can start to feed him for all these great little attempts of him checking out the weird thing that is a cot, even though he does find it a little bit flustering. Nice job, sir. Gotta go boy.